Hello everyone. So welcome to our channel IASPrimers. After a very long time. So I'm sorry about that, but yes, it could not have been avoided. Okay, so as always, we are referring to the Delhi edition and coming to the first news. So you see this article over here, facing government action of Hawaii to dial down R&D operations. So see, this is important from the point of view of General Studies paper 3. Not really what all is happening. What we're seeing is that Huawei, a very famous Chinese company who has this Chinese hardware, they have their mobile phones, they have this modems, routers, that Wi-Fi related things. So they are having difficulty in running their operations in India. Auctions were to take place for 5G, they were not allowed to participate. Then actions are being taken with reference to the money laundering cases. Enforcement directorate is being imposed. So on some ground or the other, it is being made difficult for Huawei to operate, and it has come to light that they are focusing on reducing their R&D operations. They from India, they have a facility in India. They are moving it back to their home country, that is China. Now, as I said, it is important from the point of view of General Studies paper 3. So when I say this, GS3 has internal security, right? So internal security is there. So Chinese made hardware, Chinese based these towers for giving this internet. So what if there is some backdoor entry by which this company has some tie-up with the Chinese government and they're relaying critical information to the Chinese? This can be in future, this can be used for either it could be used for data theft, it could be used for initiating a cyber war against India by the Chinese side. So it could be anything. So this is important from the point of view of GS3, not the news per se, just the theme of cybersecurity, emergence of the Chinese and the concern associated with that. You can also take it up with the idea of digital economy, growing India's growing digital economy. Fine. Lookout notice against aid in Delhi excise policy excise policy case. Fine. So this thing keeps continuing. Car blast in Moscow kills the daughter of key Putin aide. Right. So key officer of Putin, believed to have advised President Putin of Russia to initiate a war against Ukraine. So his daughter killed in an accident, in a car blast. Ukraine says that we are not involved, we are not a terrorist state. Fine. Fine, routine political news. So a big jolt to Congress. So they are one of the key leaders has quit some key post. So this keeps going on. Fine. Okay, this is important. Former BJP MLA booked over lynching claim in Rajasthan. So something is there that he has given his people, his volunteers, a free hand, and if they're required to kill also, they can do it. Okay, so we don't go into this. What is important is that lynching has been asked, not specifically lynching. The topic was mob violence. So this has been repeatedly asked. It was asked in 2017. It was asked in 2020. 2020 in internal security. Okay, so this lynching, mob violence, what is the role of social media in that? So 2020, this question had come. Obviously, internal security, people are killing one on the other. They're killing, mobs are being mobilized. The social media, fake news can be used for that purpose. So this is an internal security risk. Okay, so it can be this thing, it can be GS2, it can be GS1. Why is the society losing their temper and initiating a violent tirade against the other community, people of other community? That becomes GS1. So if you look at it from society perspective, it becomes GS1. If we purely focus on internal security, then it becomes GS3. What is the government doing about it? Most likely GS2 or again GS3. Okay, what should the government do about this? What should the government do about it? Can you write it in the comment section? Some 4-5 points. What are they doing or something like that? Or you can share it with me on my Telegram also. Okay, I'll highly appreciate that. Okay. Opposition corners up on graft. This is important. Can't declare Satyendra Jain as person with unsound mind. Who says this? The Delhi High Court. Somebody filed a petition, Satyendra Jain should be disqualified. That's the reason, of course. So it should be disqualified from Delhi Assembly. So one of the criteria of disqualification for an MLA or an MP is that a person is with an unsound mind. So I was thinking, okay, so this is one criteria. So what are the qualifications? What are the criteria for disqualification? What are the other criteria? Then I was looking for questions on the same, and I found this one. I didn't cross-check if it is a previous year. It might be actually. So you can see a previous year question on similar, a question on similar lines. Which of the following are grounds for disqualification of a member from either house of the parliament according to the constitution? Says parliament, it can very well be state also, state legislature. Fine, I think this is an incomplete question, but you see, we get the content over here. Office of profit, right? We get this content over here. He holds office of profit under the union or state government if he is of unsound mind, if he is discharged insolvent, not a citizen of India or has voluntarily acquired citizenship of another country, or disqualified under any law made by parliament. So this disqualification that we see, these 5 points over here, these are mentioned in the constitution. So this is also the way it can be asked is which of the following are criteria for disqualification are mentioned in the constitution, or according to the constitution, which of the following. And one of the clauses for disqualification can be given over there. So besides this, we have under the Representation of Peoples Act, the additional grounds mentioned are: he must not have found guilty of certain election offences, he must not have been punished for preaching or practicing social crimes. I think you get a good idea of what I'm trying to say. Next is again important, GS3, environment, right? So from environment point of view, residents cry foul as waste plant said to expand. One of the crucial solutions to clear landfills is to increase number of waste to energy plants. We get the theme, we don't have to really read this. So people are not happy with this thing. The people of Delhi, in Delhi there is a place known as Okhla. So there is this waste plant. So this has to be expanded. So more waste will come over there. There'll be more foul smell. There'll be more pollution. Waste to energy is also you're burning waste. You're burning waste and therefore you are getting energy. And what is the right word for burning? Incineration. Right. So you're incinerating, you're burning it and you're getting energy out of this. Naturally, this will naturally lead to pollution. You're burning some, not just carbon, there may be other things also, plastics and so many other things. So more toxins would be released in the atmosphere. It may not be good for the overall environment of that region. Okay, so that is the problem. So that we see, okay, fine. Now you see, one of the crucial solutions to clear landfills. What are the other solutions to clear landfills? Are there any other way of sorting this, reducing the landfill waste? Any other way of clearing the huge mounds of landfill that is there? How can we do that? That is important. And it's very easy to find it from the PIB. It is here that we actually refer to the PIB. If you wish, you can actually ask me. I'll make a video on this thing, landfills, right? I'll do this. If you want, you can mention it also, but I'll do it. Okay. And please be careful in whom you're talking to, right? I know a couple of people. Okay, sextortion. How tech-savvy criminals are blackmailing victims online. Fine, so this becomes cybercrime. Fine, so sextortion, people, normally, and suddenly they start getting messages, they start chatting, and then they show some video, whatever, and then they start blackmailing the other person. Right, we will spoil your reputation, we'll spoil your family, whatever, and they are charging money out of that. So what we are finding is, and what the Delhi police is saying, that when people are not willing to come out in the public, naturally, if they come to, their reputation will anyways go. So they are not willing to go to the police. So they are afraid of that thing. And besides, another observation, a key observation is that post-pandemic, we are seeing more of these incidents taking place. So earlier they used to receive 1-2 complaints a month. Now we get 8 to 9. So how do we add this, right? 4 to 8 times this case has increased. So please be careful, right? Yeah. Opposition slams Haryana government over closure of schools. Move I aimed at promoting privatization. Fine, we'll do that later with Rebel Sena MLA. This thing will keep going on. Ganesh Chaturthi festival, upcoming Ganesh Chaturthi festival. That's there. Yeah, differences should be debated rationally. What differences are we talking about? And that is important. So it's talking about ideological differences surrounding V.D. Savarkar and Tipu Sultan. Now, aren't these topics important from GS1 point of view? V.D. Savarkar, and if you look at ideological type of questions, they are being asked in the GS1 paper. And when we talk about ideological differences, we tend to pit V.D. Savarkar and Mahatma Gandhi. So both maybe having a common name, but they differ in their ways or methods. So Savarkar and Mahatma Gandhi, I think that's very, very good, this thing, right? So we can have a comparative this thing on these two personalities. It's always good to have a standalone viewpoint also on V.D. Savarkar and his contributions to the freedom struggle and his ideology. So that would also be a safe thing to do. So one, you should prepare a note solely focusing on V.D. Savarkar, 150 prepare for 150 words. I think that's good enough, 150 or 200 words. And other is V.D. Savarkar and Gandhi. So already Gandhi and Ambedkar, right? So such themes have already been picked up. Okay. Likewise, Tipu Sultan also. Important in the context, this news is important in the context of number of things. I mean, one is the issue of freebies that is going on, right? That case is going on in the Supreme Court. So freebies, a panel is being formed, the election related promises for freebies has been done. We'll give you free electricity, we'll give you free ration, and its impact on the state's finances. In fact, there is an article in the business section, if I'm not wrong, from the monetary policy committee. One of the members have made a remark on this. So we'll do that again. Okay. Now, one of the things associated with the freebies thing, and I also agree on this thing. So, when freebies are being given, like Tamil Nadu is particularly infamous. In my times also, I used to think that way. So cheap ration is being provided, a lot of subsidies and things are done. But when I was preparing, I was a bit surprised actually that this state is actually doing much better as compared to the states we perceive to be doing well. So somebody has filed a petition and saying that action should be taken against such states who are giving these freebies to the people. Well, on the other hand, it is also seen that they are able to address income gaps, contributing to development, etc. Right. So this is there. So according to a data, it has seen that such schemes have helped 12% of the household's income is saved by the measures in the homes of the lowest income strata. I'll give you some example. Like rations is given at a very, very low rate, very as good as free. When ration is given, at least the food related aspect, hunger related aspect, that is not only addressed. Or if a household could actually buy food and then also they get it, so that money can be used in other resources, like it could be used for a girl education of the girl child. So in that way, it cross subsidizes. These schemes cross subsidize. But yes, these schemes come at a burden on the state's fiscal health, right? So that is also there. So both, it has to be done in a sustainable manner. Right. Now there was this thing about Stalin government has made travel in buses free for women. I think Delhi also they had done this. So what was the rationale behind it? So women mobility, empowering women, encouraging participation of women So in the workplace, so that way. Giving rickshaws to girl child, again, this is one thing. So it's seen that it has a positive impact on girl education. Cycles, sorry, not rickshaw, cycles to the girl. Okay, so yeah, this is political news. Shah raises bipole pitch and Munu Gode. Okay, I was asked this question long back about bipole. What are bipoles? So one is elections. Elections, we call it as polls. Now imagine a certain person who was elected from a constituency, an MP or an MLA. If they were elected to a constituency, for some reason he had to leave his post or he passed away. So that post is vacant. So from a constituency, let's say this is a constituency, a member was sent. This person had to vacate the seat, he passed away or whatever has happened. So this seat is empty. This seat is empty. So just for this seat, elections are done. So these are known as bipoles. These are not regular ones. This is only for that time period. So bipole. Okay, the case for online learning, I think, yeah, online learning, pros and cons, hybrid learning, those things. And also look at it from the point of view of inclusive aspect. Just a second here. So I'm not doing this. AAP has a lot to explain of its excise policy. Even if the CBI inquiry is motivated, I'm not interested in this. Too much political. Bihar and the evolution of mental politics, not interested. Should have some ideas, but for the time being, we have other things. In Kansas, vote relief and caution for Democrats. So this is, again, I just read this, Roe versus Wade. So this is about, this judgment was there, Roe versus Wade. This was with reference to the abortion, right? So their Supreme Court, USA, they have said that abortion is not protected as a constitutional right. So the state of Kansas, USA, they held a referendum. In that referendum, they were in favor of abortion being constitutionally protected. So Democrats were in favoring that. So it's all about this actually. So I'm not really interested. Otherwise, it's not even an Indian context. We should have basic idea like what is Roe versus Wade. But besides that, no. Fight for survival. The international community must back Somalia in fight against terror. Fine. So we should know Somalia. So 1 second. Yeah, always do this. Like I can't show you the atlas. So I will prefer to open the atlas. Okay, so we get some basic, we can read about Somalia over here. So we should know about the physical features of physical aspect, like what all landforms are there, what all rivers are there. We should have basic since it is there in the news. The country surrounding it, right? So Somalia is bordered by Ethiopia to the west, Gulf of Aden to the north. Or we can actually look at the map also. And this is of concern for India because, again, one more thing, that this is in the Horn of Africa. So this is along the Indian Ocean region. Yeah, Somalia land. So Ethiopia is over here, landlocked, which I can't see the entire thing, but yeah, Somalia you can see over here. Right, so Indian Ocean region of concern for India also. Okay, so do look at the physical map of Somalia also. Some important things are there, like where is Nogal Valley located, right? Karakar Mountains. So yeah, some basic rivers, some basic idea you should have. Yeah, so let's see what is there. For me, of interest was the second paragraph actually, and I think that's sufficient. So Somalia, it's same for almost all countries. So Somalia had a dictatorship, military dictatorship. So people were not happy with that military dictatorship. That government was overthrown. Government is overthrown, so there is political instability. At present, the Somalia government has control only around the capital region. That's all. Besides this, this because of the government is not strong, so there are other elements, militant activists, militant groups. So they have become more active. Obviously, the government is not able to keep a check on them. So because of this, the militant factions groups have emerged. They are fighting one against the other, right? They are fighting against them. There is a civil war that is going on. One of the prominent militant groups is Al-Shabaab, right? So Al-Shabaab. So this is there. Emerged from this chaos and went on to become what it is today. It's a very important militant organization over there. The government's writ, the government's command control does not run in regions beyond the capital. It's limited to that portion only. Right? So that is the problem. This is all I wanted actually. Basic, like which militant group is, again, which militant group is functioning in which all regions, that is also important. So at the present, now this is a sermon from like what all they should do, that, etc. So we're not really interested, but yes, they the state should improve its rate and they should get international support also. These are fanciful things, are difficult to implement in reality. Yeah, making bail impossible. This is all that, after such a long time, I'm recording this DNA, same thing is going on. That's what I say. Just prepare a note for yourself and get sorted for a very, very long period of time. So, yeah, I'm not doing this, making bail. This is about Prevention of Money Laundering Act. I know I was to make a video on this. What next on data protection? Again, I have to make a video on this. So this is again an old topic actually. So there is this data protection bill, also known as the Personal Data Protection Bill. So this bill was to be introduced to regulate personal data, all the social media companies, all this Amazon, etc. They're storing your data. So how this data is to be protected, how this has to be regulated. So this framework was to be created by means of a law, which is known as the Personal Data Protection Bill. It was based on a committee actually known as Justice Sri Krishna Committee. So it was there in the year 2018. So UPSC asked a question in 2018. Okay. So now this bill has suddenly been withdrawn, ended, khatam. So this bill has been withdrawn all of a sudden. So this is about that aspect only. But yeah, I felt it's better to save energy and do it separately in future. The rest of the earth. So this is about manual scavenging actually. This is a very, 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 very important topic. Manual scavenging. Most likely GS2. Right, so most likely the GS2, what is the government doing? So what the government doing is GS2. So I have a very detailed video. It's a 20-minute video with a lot of facts from PIB, facts, measures, all those things. I have made a video on this thing, manual scavenging. If you just Google IASPrimers, or I've shared the link on the Telegram also. Besides, I would like you to take a screenshot, or you can check my Instagram page also. So there I've taken I've stored this as data, right? Yeah, so manual scavenging is going on. So now this thing came in the news because a question answer session was going on in the Lok Sabha Parliament is in session. So during that time, it mentioned that there are 58,000 people engaged in manual scavenging. So somebody would have asked the minister a question, Minister of Social Justice and Empowerment. I think you also get it. Manual scavenging is associated with, which ministry is tasked to deal with the issue of manual scavenging. Fine. So between 2018, it said that there are over 58,000 people engaged in manual scavenging. Thing is that in 2013, a law was introduced to prohibit such employment. So 2018, where are we now? 2013. So we are in 2022 August. So in these years, we still have so many people. In fact, it is felt that it is, and these people are actually in some way or the other associated with the government, right? This is urban governance work. So the government is only employing them directly or indirectly through contractors. Government contractors. So the contractors are hiring these people. So that way. So this is still going on, and this number, they say it is highly compressed. The actual numbers would be much, much more. So they're just saying 58,000 people. 347 workers died because of cleaning sewers or septic tanks. The government says that there is no deaths taken place because of manual scavenging, but at the same time, workers died while or because of cleaning sewers. So this basically, it's some form of, without protection, without anything, and this person is wearing, but not this. So, and this is by chance. Actually, you'll see much worse actually on the net if you search. Yeah, this is going on over here. And majority of them are actually Dalits. So again, a caste-based occupation. So this is going on from something needs to be done about this. Then this data gives us this thing like we get a concentration of, you can see the ones in the dark. So these states have more intensity of people in this occupation. Right, so caste-wise split is also given. So you find majority of them is in the scheduled caste. So 431 OBC, 421 ST, and 351. So nowhere comparable. Then what measures are being taken to rehabilitate? We get this over here also. Right, so yeah, so there is the self-employment scheme for rehabilitation of manual scavengers. This is known as SRMS. Right, all this is available on my this thing video. You can get that. So 20 minutes, and your answer is prepared actually. Okay, so let's move forward. We have some more data. Viral cattle disease. So this is something known as lumpy skin disease. So lumpy skin disease, another disease that is there in news is foot and mouth disease. I have heard like one of my wounds has this foot and mouth disease now. Normally it's with the animals, but now it is seen with the humans also. Okay, so lumpy skin disease. So please read about the foot and mouth also. Okay, lumpy skin disease. So it is a viral disease. It's mentioned over here. This is important. This aspect is important. Okay, fall in death claims. Which death claims? LIC. So you know LIC people, because of the COVID, it's in the context of COVID. So obviously because of COVID, a lot of deaths have taken place. So people have life insurance, so they claim money. So this has come down, but it has not reached pre-COVID levels. That means the rate of death, mortality is actually high. Inflows in equities, very important. Remember sometime back, foreign portfolio investments going out, right? So they are going out now. We see inflows in equities taking place, and one of the reasons for inflow in equities is people investing in a lot of this SIPs, systematic investment plan. So rather than this, there used to be something known as recurring deposit for fixed deposit. They have this recurring every month. So this money, like every month, some installment is going for your mutual fund investment. So this is known as the SIPs. So this is also one of the reasons for that. Okay, so you see the money is again coming back into the economy. Some of the money, lot more has gone, but see, gradually it is coming. Okay, international students. India is trying to promote more of international students into our country. And Somalia hotel sage. Yeah, same thing. Delhi Police's use of facial recognition technology. I made a video on this. You don't have to do this. I made a video on this. Automated facial recognition system. It was taken from the Delhi Police's use. So this is not something new actually. So yeah, I have a video on this with purely from UPSC perspective. I've made the video. Automated facial recognition system or scheme, AFRS, that I made. So you can find it on our channel, IASPrimers. Yeah, this was interesting. I'll make a video on this, non-fungible tokens. So OpenSea tale on the future of NFT. So what is this OpenSea tale? OpenSea is a platform where you can get these non-fungible tokens. So let us see what is a non-fungible token. But before that, I think we should also know what is a fungible token. And the internet has made life so much easy, Yeah, an interchangeable representation of an asset. So, like rupees. Rupee is kind of a fungible thing, like 1 rupee, another person has 1 rupee, so they are same in quantity. But something like an art form, somebody who's making a GIF, somebody is making a painting, so they are different. They are not the same. So these are non-fungible. Now in digital space, more of this digital economy coming up, there are more of these independent creators, artist creators, content creators. So them having the ability to safeguard their digital property and monetize that. So for that purpose, we have the non-fungible token. So it is a record on a blockchain which is associated with a particular digital or a physical asset. So yeah. So this is it. Basically, it's associated with this digital art. So digital art or any digital content or me making lectures also. So that is all non-fungible token. You may have the topic same video, study IQ, IASPrimers, but still they're different. Okay. So to protect that, we are working on this non-fungible token, and the thing is OpenSea. What is OpenSea? OpenSea is like Amazon actually. It's like a platform where people can buy these things. One of the leading platforms. Yeah. So you see this OpenSea, you explore. So you want this thing, you want art. So these are all non-fungible tokens. You can go and buy these things. Besides, I'm not interested in doing the entire thing over here. Basic, we should know what is the NFT, that's all. Okay, now on, we don't have much. We'll quickly do this. Death toll in Himachal floods rises to 27. Fine, so floods, landslides, landslips. All of them are actually mentioned. I didn't read this article. As many as 46 incidents of landslips, flash floods, cloudbursts, and road accidents. Okay. Yeah, independently, landslides have been asked. Floods are again important. Besides this, I remember last year there was making videos on prep IAS. So there I covered this multiple times. So Himalayan ecosystem, Himalayan ecology. This is getting deteriorated, and that's why we are seeing more and more of this problems, more and more of these disasters. So we need to do something about the degradation of the Himalayas that is taking place. Why? Because of all these anthropogenic activities. That is a theme. Okay. So this is there. Besides 300% more in climate change induced. Again, climate change, you can relate it with this thing. Anthropogenic. Delhi police detain Ticket on way to stare. Sorry for daughter's behavior. I don't know what behavior, but yes. Forcible Aadhaar voter ID link. I think this is important. We know there are people who tend to have multiple voter IDs also. So something needs to be done to ensure that there is a single voter card. Person can vote at one place only. That is required. But there are concerns about Aadhaar being linked. Aadhaar. There are certain reservations. So the government says it is voluntary, but informally, if you see, it is kind of mandatory. In fact, anything I want to do, like anything you have to do also, you'll see that they'll demand for the Aadhaar only, and there is hardly any other way out. So yeah, Aadhaar is the thing actually. Poor being bled dry by litigation. Fine, this is very good. So I missed this earlier when reading the first thing. Yeah, so this is about the cost of litigation. Again, this context is important. While formally launching the Legal Aid Defense Council system. Please read this. I missed this, but please read this. Besides, what other measures can be done? I mean, obviously, litigation is very, very expensive. What other initiatives are there? I guess you must have heard about NALSA, so that is there. Right. And then the focus on mediation. So mediation rather than going to the courts, looking at alternate dispute resolution. So that is another initiative. Besides, we can also focus on e-courts, e-filing, so using of digital platforms. What if people have to go to, even at the higher level, people have to go to the high court, or people have to go to even to the district courts. People have to travel, then they have to lose their job, lose their work, or lose their pay for that period of time when they're going to the court. So I mean, yeah, that can be sorted if we have video conferencing kind of things. These are certain things actually you can visualize it. Or actually we can get it from the PIB also. What is the government doing? So same thing. India-China ties can't be a one-way street, says who? Says Minister S. Jaishankar. Naturally, it cannot. It's good actually. Somebody is actually saying this. So China says, that you are doing. mean, yeah, China wants India to act in its own what's convenient to China, but when India has certain reservations, China doesn't abide by this. It should not be a one-way street. It should never be a one-way street. It should be a two-way street. China should also agree to what India's concerns are. If they have a problem if an Indian ship goes to the South China Sea, but their ship coming to the Indian Ocean region, that's fine. And with the capacity, spying capability, they don't recognize our the Kashmir region, the China-Pakistan economic corridor is going through it. Fine from the POK region, but we claim it is to be ours. So legally it is ours. So it cannot be a one-way street. Fine. Okay, so India-China relationship, GS2, so that way. See, this is important actually, and this should take place. We see it we see this taking place in UK also with this upcoming contest for becoming the prime minister. So Sunak and Liz Truss. So this is going on, and they're talking about the freebie issue also. So this is at the Monetary Policy Committee, MPC, one of the members, Ashima Goyal. She has said that the freebies come at a price, and if you're doing this, you should also talk about financing and trade-offs involved. Naturally, you're giving subsidies, so that money is getting something for 1 rupee, 2 rupees, but that money is still coming from somewhere. It is coming from the taxpayers' money. People are offering free electricity, but if free electricity is given, then how are the companies who are manufacturing electricity, how are they getting money? And if they are getting money, it is from where is that money coming? How is that coming? Everything should be put in black and white. It should be put in very clear terms to the people. Okay, so yeah, that's very, very important. There was a proposal for an independent estimates committee with reference to the budget also. I mean, budget against subsidies. So just it's coming to my mind at this moment. The Niti Aayog had proposed that, it didn't happen. So yeah, we will look at the viability of the promises that are made in the budget. Overseas borrowing, a double-edged sword, allure of cheaper. Fine, it's very simple, very simple. Money, let's say we borrow money, so we have to pay interest, right? Money will ultimately go out. This is not our money. Money will ultimately go out. That will lead to drain of wealth. So in some way, you get investments, you get money, but the idea is to take back that investment to the home country. Naturally, they have made their investments with the view on profit. But here we are getting investments. So it's a double-edged sword. Now we saw with this foreign portfolio investors, they were leaving our country. So it was leading to macroeconomic instability. Our currency value, rupee, was depreciating vis-a-vis dollar. So it's a double-edged sword. In fact, it won't be a bad idea to prepare a note from mains point of view also. Like, yeah, what are we doing with reference to attracting investments? What are the positives? What are the shortcomings? Just having a note, it will be very helpful. Zelensky warns of ugly Russian attack around Independence Day. Singapore will repeal law against gay sex. I think we can relate it to section. Oh, they also have section 377 of the Singapore's penal code. This is also 377. Just having a doubt right now. Okay. Park Media Regulator bans live telecast of impacts. Right, so this is done. Rest we have the sports news now. What all events are there? We should have a idea, basic idea about them. Okay, non-cricket. Okay, yeah. So this is it. So yeah, thank you for streaming in. I'm coming up with a new course also known as the QRS. It will be live on my website. So I'm not promoted right now, but yes, within 1 month, 2 months, we'll make it.